This is POKÉ WILD by Deuce Gala Magic, and it's a take on the very popular wild card effect, but with Pokemon cards. Is this worth your $250 US? Stick around to find out. Let's do a quick performance of POKÉ WILD by Michael Bloemke. So we have some Pokemon cards here. I took them from my brother. This is a starter pack. We've got a Caterpie, that's a common card. We've got a Pokeball, that's used to catch Pokemon. We've got an energy card, and we have a rare holographic Charizard. These are worth a lot of money, but we're going to try something. Watch this. Why don't we duplicate the Charizard and get a second one right there? That's pretty cool, but watch this. We'll take the Pokemon Ball card, and all we have to do is rub the back of it and slide it between those two Charizard cards, rub it, and it becomes a third Charizard. Let's make two more. Let's do two at a time. Watch this. Just rub it through, and we get two more holographic Charizards. Isn't that crazy? Let's do one more. Here's the thing. Here's what we're going to do. See the last card? Kadabra. Watch this. If I just give it a wave over the other Charizards, that becomes another Charizard, and that's POKÉ WILD by Michael Bloemke and the Deuce Gala. I hope you all enjoyed that performance. That is POKÉ WILD by Michael Bloemke. First of all, thank you to Magic Orthodoxy for sending me this product to review. You're amazing, David. Also, all Magic distributors or creators, if you want me to review your product, please contact me at bfanmail@gmail.com. I also do free Magic monthly giveaways, and all you have to do to be eligible is hit that subscribe button. For the month of October, I'm giving away POW by Eric Casey and John Michael Hinton, and all you have to do to be eligible for that giveaway is make sure to subscribe to the channel, go to my review of Demi Deck by Angelo Carbone, like that video, and comment on it your favorite card trick. Now, without further ado, let's get into this review. Before we begin the POKÉ WILD review, I wanted to mention that this effect is very similar to Uncommon by Josh Burch, which is a new release from Penguin Magic. It's a lot cheaper than this, but it's almost the same effect. There are a few differences, but it's pretty similar. Now, with POKÉ WILD, what do you receive in the box? You will receive 9 Pokemon cards. 4 of them are gimmicked and 5 of them are normal holographic cards. You can either order the Charizard card set or the Pikachu holographic set. Depending on which set you order, the price is going to be a little different. And by a little, I mean $100. The Charizard set costs $100 more, I believe, than the Pikachu set. But the holographic cards for the Charizard set, which David kindly sent to me, they aren't real Charizard holographic cards, because if they were, each one of them would be valued at least a few $100s if you look online. So these are, I believe, reprints, but they look and feel very real. They look very similar to the original cards. But I do think the Pikachu holographic cards, if you order that set, the cards that come in the package are real. In addition to these 9 Pokemon cards, you will get a double backer for some additional ideas taught by Michael O'Brien in the tutorial, which we will cover momentarily. You'll also receive an instructional card, or a card to the instructional video, which is about 45 minutes. It's Michael O'Brien. He tells you absolutely everything you need to know about the product. He gives you a performance commentary, a duper practice session, mirrored playback, and more. The tutorial's pretty good. The gimmick cards should last you a very long time as long as you take care of them. But this is something I want to touch on very shortly, and it's that these should be stored in Pokemon card sleeves. And if anyone knows anything or much about Pokemon cards, a lot of people who collect Pokemon cards, especially ones so valuable like a Charizard holographic card, they'd want to carry them in sleeves, but these aren't in a sleeve. So if someone were to understand or be a personal hobbyist with trading cards, they'd be like, why are you having such expensive Pokemon cards not in a plastic sleeve that protects it? Which is why I think that is something, a subtlety that not everyone will notice, but some will notice. And it would also prove how valuable the cards are to you. And I think it's very important that you do keep these in a plastic sleeve. I'm sure you could find very cheap plastic sleeves that are clear on both sides that you could put these in. But that's what I suggest if you get this. Now, what is the quality of the gimmick? The cards are well made. There is absolutely no evidence of what has been done to the cards. And if you look closely, they look very normal, even though they are gimmicked. The process to make these is very hard. It's something that a lot of card magicians, and all magicians in fact, find very annoying. But this is done very well. It should last you a lifetime as long as you take care of it, and there are no moving parts. It should last you even longer if you carry them in a plastic sleeve. Now, how is the tutorial? The tutorial is great. You can hear Michael well, the visuals are clear, and he covers everything you need to know. What are the angles like? The angles for POKÉ WILD are very good. You won't want to be seen from underneath, however, but other than that, you can be fully surrounded. Are there live performances in the tutorial for POKÉ WILD? Yes, there are live performances in the tutorial, and Michael even does a performance commentary. Is this examinable? Unfortunately, only 5 of the 9 cards are examinable. However, at different points in the routine, it seems like to the audience that they are examining the cards, especially because you're putting the cards in their hand. However, you should probably tell your audience, and Michael covers this in the tutorial, be careful. Don't touch them because they're very expensive and I wouldn't want you to ruin them by accident. Or a joke Michael likes to tell when performing this is saying, the last time that I let someone examine these cards, they became the magician and they made the cards vanish, which is insinuating that the spectator might take them. So typically that should prevent any hecklers from wanting to examine the cards in the first place. However, as I said, I think 5 of the 9 cards are examinable, and it feels like the cards, since they are in their hands, it feels like they're examining it. How hard is POKÉ WILD to do? It's not really that difficult. If you can hold cards and do a double lift, you shouldn't have a problem with the technique. The difficulty comes in remembering the sequence of the moves and the choreographing. If you practice this for about half an hour, you should have it down. This is also very practical, as you can keep the cards in a pocket wallet to prevent it, or just put them in the plastic sleeves and toss them in your pocket. Is there any DIY with POKÉ WILD? There is no DIY. The gimmicks come ready to go out of the box. What is the reset like? The reset will take a few seconds, but you could possibly do it in front of the audience. They may see some things. You may slightly have some things not look ordinary for the spectator, but typically it happens on the offbeat. So as I'm talking, I quickly reset the cards, turn whatever I need to do, and do all of that. But it does take a few seconds. So if I reset this, I'd probably do it table to table. What is the price of POKÉ WILD? Oh boy. It's a whopping $250 for the Charizard version and $150 for the Pikachu version. That's right. It is extremely expensive. It's more expensive than, for example, Leviosa. It's more expensive than a bunch of other a bunch of other crazy effects. Is this worth the price? As I said, it's extremely expensive. Unfortunately, I don't know if it's worth the price tag. I think, yes, it was definitely probably hard for Michael to find a source to print these cards and make them look very original. That was definitely very difficult. However, I don't think for the lay audience who doesn't know much about Pokemon cards, because I know the majority of people know what Pokemon is, but they often don't know about Pokemon cards. They don't know the value of the cards. And if you turn them all into Charizard, they're just thinking, cool, Charizard. It's a very small percentile of the average population that will actually see the value of this Pokemon card, which is a few $100s. So I don't know how much impact was added in having the cards all turn into Charizards, rather than having all the cards turn into, say, energy cards or a more common card that's more simple. I don't know how much value was added. So I think they could have easily taken the price tag down if they just decided to have them all change to energy cards. And that comes from a big fan of the wild card plot. I love doing wild card, especially with normal playing cards. And I think, or not normal playing cards, sorry, I'll rephrase that, with playing cards, with bicycle playing cards. And I definitely took a lot out of this, out of the tutorial especially. So I will be using this handling of the wild card plot instead of how I usually perform wild card. So yes, I did get a lot of value out of this, but I don't know if $250 was the right price point. I think at most, the price should be less than $100, especially because they could have easily made the cards change into energy cards. The cards are very well made. Everything about this is classy, but the price is really, really expensive, especially for what you get. And I fully understand probably how hard it was to find a place that could print these cards. I just think it might have been nicer if they could just change them to energy cards or something like that. The packaging is nice and all of that. It's just that price is very expensive. Now, let's talk about the pros and cons. The pros are this is visual. It's nostalgic. A lot of people know Pokemon. The tutorial was great. The angles are perfect. It's very practical and can be done standing. The cons are that this is expensive, not examinable. Well, it feels like it's examinable, but not all the cards are examinable. The reset is not instant, and the routine has some small discrepancies, which I don't think anyone would notice. And one more thing, it would seem more legit if you perform this effect I'd perform this especially for people who know a lot about Pokemon, but people who know a lot about Pokemon who would see the real value of the holographic cards would question why these cards aren't in a sleeve. Because these cards, once they turn into holographic cards, you have 9 of them. So if you could put them in sleeves, that would preserve them. And anyone who knows a thing about Pokemon would be like, why aren't you having those expensive cards protected? Why are you just letting them wear and tear in your pocket? So I think that is also a discrepancy. But what percent do I give POKÉ WILD? I'm giving it a 79%. The effect is quite good, but due to the reset and the extremely high cost, I took off some marks. I hope you all enjoyed this review. That's it from me. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. And make sure to watch my review of Uncommon by Josh Burch, coming soon.